dealing with the evaluation of stock, evaluation of share prices, and we have covered constant growth model in the previous lectures. And this growth is relevant to the dividend growth model इसे कहते हैं. And the previous was constant growth model. Today we'll discuss about growth phases model. This model assumes that dividends for a share will grow at two or more different growth rates. For example, dividends can grow for 5% for the first 3 years, then 7% for the next time period. So there can be two or more different growth rates. So the formula for this would be the little bit change, little bit extension. So here this is V. V is the value. Some books it is also called price. For problem solving, you can also call it price of a share or value of a share. D is dividend, G is growth. K is the discount rate. G is growth in the dividend, growth in the upcoming next growth in the dividend. G2 is the second growth rate that is given. And K is the discount rate. G1 is the first growth phase. G2 is the second growth phase. So we can rewrite the formula 1 over 1 plus K here. Let us solve the question, then it will be in a better position to understand this concept. For example, you can see question on the screen. This stock GP has an expected growth rate of 16% for the first 3 years and 8% thereafter. The growth rate for the first 3 years is 16%, and after that 8% constant growth rate uske baad. Each share of stock just received an annual $3.24 dividend per share. So this is the dividend that is just received. Keep in mind that this dividend is not D1, this is D naught. इसे हम कहते हैं D naught, और इसमें जब we will multiply it with the growth 1 plus G, so that would be the D1. तो ये D naught है, इसको हम convert करेंगे D1. The appropriate discount rate is 15%. The value of K here is 15%. So what is the value of the common stock under this? We have growth 16% for first 3 years and 8% after that. Dividend that is just received is $3.24. Discount rate small k is 15%. Now we have to calculate the value of a stock. For this purpose, we will draw a timeline. So at the end of the first time period, we get D1. This is D1, D2, D3. पहले 3 साल ये है, that is a 16% growth. D3 के बाद आगे infinity तक, this shows infinity, the constant growth of 8% to infinity. So we can say there are two growth phases. First is 3 years and is second 8%. So 3 years तक growth rate is 16%. After 3 years, growth rate is 8%. This is we have divided the timeline here. First 3 years, then after 3 years. तो जब second case है जहां पे where the growth rate is constant, Here we can also apply the constant growth or constant growth rate model that we have discussed in the previous slide. That is D1 over K minus D. First is here growth is for 3 years. If we write V3 is equal to D4 over K minus D, because the basic formula for the stock valuation is D over K minus D, D1 over K minus D. जब हम D1 लिखते थे, D1 तो यहाँ पे V नॉट होता था, तो we can write similarly V3 is equal to D4 over K minus D. Now the question is, what is V3? V3 is the value of a stock after 3 years. In year 3, 3 सालों बाद, after 3 years, the value of a stock, value of a share would be called V3 here. V1, V0, V1, V2, V3. And the next upcoming dividend would be D4. D4 over K minus D. How we can get D4? Because we have the dividend, we can convert it, that dividend $3.24 into D1, then D2, then D3, then D4. जब हमारे पास D4 आ जाएगा, तो we can easily get the value of V3. V3 is equal to D4 over K minus G. V3 value of a share, D is the dividend in fourth year, fourth time period, K is the discount rate, G is the growth rate. D1, D2, D3. D3 के नीचे V3. V3 is equal to, V is the value, D is the dividend. So we will calculate the dividends. How? You can see on the screen. T naught is equal to $3.24. This has been paid already, and this is available in the question. If this dividend is just received, तो इसको जब ग्रो करेंगे हम 16% के साथ, because 16% is also given in the question. 3.24 multiplied by 1 plus D means 1.16. So this would become 3.76. अब this is the D1. तो जब D2 calculate करेंगे, तो we can write either in this way D naught plus 1 plus G1 की power 2, or we can also write D2 के लिए D1 and 1 plus G की power 1. तो D2 को D3 बना सकते हैं, फिर D3 से D4 बना सकते हैं, और हम इस फॉर्मूले से भी कर सकते हैं कि पावर बढ़ाते जाएं. D नॉट की पावर 2, यहाँ पर D नॉट की पावर है 3, 1 प्लस G1 के ऊपर. और यू कैन सिंपली 4.36 को मल्टीप्लाई करें 1.16 से, तो आ जाएगा 5.06. Either you can solve by this formula कि पावर आप ले लें, otherwise you can simply calculate year by year growth of 16%. एक साल का कैलकुलेट करें, then next year का कैलकुलेट कर लें by multiplying by 1.16, again 1.16. इस तरह से you can calculate D3. And similarly D4 में देखें, D4 केस में here this is 1.08. This is not 1.16. This is 8%. This is not the 16%. So it means, as it was told in the question, the growth rate after 3 years would be 8%. So here the growth rate, the small g, is 8%. That is why we have taken 1.08. और सी यहाँ पे है 5.06, that is the D3. D3 को हमने अब ग्रो किया by 8% और we have multiplied it by 1.08. So it is $5.46. So in this way, The dividend in the fourth time period, D4, is 5.46. As we have calculated D4, now we can calculate easily the value of V3 that we have just seen in the previous slides. For example, this formula. V3 is equal to D4 over K minus T. V3 is equal to D4 over K minus T. We know the value of D4, we have just calculated. Value of K is also given in the question, and value of G is also available in the question. So we can calculate V3. What is V3? V3 is $78. How we get it? This 5.46 is the value of D4 that we have just calculated. %15 is the discount rate K and the 8% is the growth rate. $78 is the V3 after 3 years. So तीसरे साल पे, third year पे, the value of a share is $78. But we need to calculate, आज हम यहाँ पे 0. So we need to calculate the present value of the share. So we'll take the 78 to the today's time period. So we will take it back by 3 years. We will calculate present value of this 78 and the dividends we will receive in the first 3 years. D1 is 3.76, D2, D3. तो हम इन सब को पीछे लेकर आएंगे 0 के ऊपर. आज की वैल्यू पे that would be the answer of this question. That would be the value of a share. How? We have already studied this concept in time value of money. So D1 was $3.76. We will take it back 1 year back. This 15% is the discount rate. We will apply 15% year 1. So we will get 3.27. We can say the present value of D1, that is 3.76. Present value of 3.76 is $3.27. Okay. Then this is the D2. This is the dividend we will receive after second year. In second year, we will receive this dividend. So we have to take back 2 years back this D2. So the present value of this D2 is 3.30. The present value of $4.36 is 3.30. And D3 was 5.06. We will take it back by 3 years. So the present value of this 5.06 would be $3.33. Present value of D1 is 3.27. Present value of D2 is 3.30. Present value of D3 is 3.33. ये तो होगा dividends की present value. Now we will take the present value of V3, that is 78. 15% 3, so we will take $78 back 3 years. 3 साल पीछे लेकर आएंगे इसको भी, तो we will calculate the present value, that is $51.32. Now we will add all these present values. That would be the value of a share. You can see the present value of 3 dividends here and the present value of V3, that is value in third year. V is 61.22 here. So the value is $61.22 here. So this is the answer of this question. This is the value of a share, $61.22. So this is the valuation according to our analysis. If in the market, the market price of this share is higher than 61.22, अगर market में price $65 है, तो we will sell this share.
And if the market price is $58 in the market, so we will buy from the market, because according to our analysis, the price should be $61.22. So this is the complete question relevant to valuation of a stock by applying growth model, and this growth model for different phases. You can also practice this question to better understand this concept. So this is the complete question for the evaluation of a share.